Hi everyone. So we wanted to talk today about the coronavirus, and because of course there's a lot of challenges for a lot of people around this topic, not just from fears of becoming ill, but also the impact, the knock-on effects on jobs and finances and toilet paper. And so we will actually go into that a little bit and explain a little bit about what's going on with people who are stockpiling toilet paper. But also just giving you some tools and information on how you can change the impact that it's having on you. So we can't always change what's going on around us, but our goal for this is to empower you, empower those who are feeling the negative emotional impact from the coronavirus and the effects of that in general.
So who are we?
That's
by way of introduction, we're Steve and Odile Remmert. We're professional mindset coaches. And
we specialize in the subconscious and emotions, and our goal is to empower you to become happier, healthier, and wealthier with more love and fun and success in your life.
Right. So what are we, what's our main focus today? What is it that we hope to, leave? What's the end goal?
Right. So we want you to leave this, listening to us, with feeling empowered, having an idea of what's going on in your brain and body and how to change that, how to make life easier for you regardless of the circumstances and the events going on.
I know that part of our impetus of doing this is that a lot of people are experiencing more the effects of the coronavirus. I don't know anybody who knows somebody that has the coronavirus. I don't personally know anybody that has it, but there's a lot of secondary effects that are being caused right now, and it's how we're all individually experiencing what's happening in the world right now.
That's right.
And a lot of times we can end up feeling out of control, helpless. So however it is that we're experiencing that, I think it's our goal here today to kind of help you understand that we really do have the control of that experience. It's what's going on inside that is dictating what that experience is for us.
Right. So in the first instance, regardless of what the effects are for you, so whether you are worried about becoming ill or worried about someone else becoming ill, or you're worried about your job, your business, the impact on travel plans. We have a couple of clients actually this week were concerned about the stock exchange and business deals with China and that kind of thing. So
and
finances impacted.
Yeah, of course, people's jobs, livelihoods, and that kind of thing are being impacted.
Right. So whatever that is, or if you're angry and frustrated about the situation or about the people who are cleaning the shelves in the supermarkets and that kind of thing, by the end of watching this video, you will know how to at least change your experience of it.
Right.
So starting off with the fact that whatever you're feeling, whether it's fear, anger, frustration, all negative emotions, whenever you're feeling a negative emotion, stress chemicals are being pumped into your system in real time. And one of the effects of those stress chemicals is that blood drains from the prefrontal cortex of your brain, where you do your cognitive thinking, to the back of your brain. So this means that while you're feeling fear, frustration, anger, whatever it is you're feeling about the coronavirus and the effects of it and the way people are responding to it, you literally can't think straight. So the aim is to bring that part of your brain back online so that you're able to, so let's say you're worried because you're in danger of losing your job, or business things have been cancelled, or you're worried about the stock market, or whatever it is. As you're feeling those worries, you don't have your cognitive thinking online. So you want to bring that back online, because then you'll notice opportunities, you'll think of new things, you'll get creative, your problem solving skills will be available. You can strategize, and you will come up with solutions and options that you can't think of right now. So that's the first thing. And the way to bring your cognitive thinking back online is to do whatever it takes to feel good. And that sounds like a really flippant thing to say, but as the chemical state changes, so as the stress chemicals come down in your system and feel good chemicals start to you start to produce feel good chemicals like endorphins, serotonin, oxytocin, that chemical change allows blood to return to the prefrontal cortex of your brain, and then you're able to think straight again. That part of your brain is back online. So changing that chemical state is as simple but not easy as changing your focus and what you're thinking about, because thoughts are connections between neurons in the neocortex of your brain, and those connections those connections trigger matching chemicals. So to put it very simply, negative thoughts trigger stress chemicals, which drain blood from your prefrontal cortex. Positive thoughts trigger feel-good chemicals, which allow blood to return to your prefrontal cortex.
And if I could just add one other little
get
thing.
one word in.
It's a great flow. The other aspect of the production of negative, or the stress chemicals, of negative chemicals in your body, is that it is having an impact on all of the systems in your body as well. So it's going to have a negative impact on especially your immune system. So keeping yourself in a place of stress is doing the one thing that we're all trying to that is working against, actually protecting us from viruses, colds, illnesses, diseases, everything in general. So not only are we wanting to maintain the best emotional state for the ability to strategize and see things more clearly, we're also wanting to do that to boost our immune systems.
Right. And so how do you do that? I hear you ask. So because it's not always easy. So sometimes you can. Sometimes you think, well, I'll just think positively. I'll think of something good. But in situations like this, where it can be very scary and there's a fear of the unknown, and there's all kinds of media and people talking about stuff, and there is a lot of apparent evidence for feeling fear, worry, anger, frustration, then it can be very difficult to just think positively. Right. So here's a little exercise that will help you. And remember, this little exercise is not just about feeling better. It's about bringing your prefrontal cortex online and boosting your immune system. So take a deep breath, close your eyes, and I want you to think of your favorite color. Now imagine being surrounded by that color, that beautiful shade of whatever your color is that you love. Imagine being surrounded by it and feel the feeling of that beautiful color. And then think of someone or something that you love. Just love and appreciation, no missing or longing or regret or anything like that, or guilt. Just love and appreciation. Could be a pet or an animal that's not your pet, or a person, or an activity you love, or a place you love. And imagine holding that person, animal, place, activity in your arms in a hug. And notice where in your body you feel the feeling of love. And then imagine it spreading up to the top of your head, down to the tips of your toes, and out to your fingertips. And you can open your eyes, and you just changed your chemical state. So if you weren't able to do it, if you weren't able to feel it at all, or it's very faint, that's okay. This is a skill you learn. And also, if you are already triggered, if you're already feeling a strong negative emotion, that means your system is already full of stress chemicals. And stress chemicals are stronger than feel-good chemicals because they're for our survival. So they're designed to get and keep our attention on the danger, on the tiger or the bear or whatever, so that for survival. So for that reason, it takes a little, if you're already full of stress chemicals, it takes a bit more time and focus to be able to switch it. But it only takes 60 to 90 seconds to change your chemical state, as long as you're keeping your focus on the positive and off the negative for that just minute and a half. That's all it takes. So keeping your focus on that color and that person, animal, place, or thing that you love, or activity that you love, for just a minute and a half without going back to the negative will change your chemical state, bring your prefrontal cortex online, and already start to help you physically.
So really, it seems deceptively simple. Prior to, teaching this, if I would have been seeing this up, for the first time, I'd be going, But the point of this is that it's about you having the power to put your focus on. So it can be a favorite color, it can be whatever it is that you're moving your focus from. You're in control of what you're choosing to focus on.
Right.
And when you take your focus off of the negative thoughts, the worry, the anger, whatever it is that you've been focusing on, the news, social media, I've been focusing on this, and if I choose to put my focus on something better, something that's going to allow me to feel better in the moment, now I'm in control. And I'm changing my neurochemical state. Right. And it's a skill, and as long as I continue to practice that, I'm holding myself in that state longer and longer.
Right. And here's the thing, is that doing this exercise is not going to magically get rid of the coronavirus or, allow people or magic up more toilet paper or anything like that. Okay. So, but what it will do is it will help you, number one, remain calm and feel better. Number two, and most importantly, keep your cognitive thinking online so that you're able to strategize, make wise decisions, come up with solutions, notice opportunities, and that kind of thing. And number three, it will help you physiologically. So it will help to strengthen your body more than if you were in stress. Now, of course, you still take all the normal precautions. So you don't need to be frightened of something to be safe. So you don't need to be frightened of traffic to not walk out in front of it. You do not need to feel fear about this situation with the coronavirus in order to be careful and be sensible. You can wash your hands for a minimum of 20 seconds and sneeze and cough into your elbow and take all those precautions that the experts are advising without being frightened. It's just strategy. It's just common sense. So that's very important. Now, the second part of what we want to share with you is that you'll have noticed that some people are responding with fear. Some people are annoyed and angry and frustrated. Some people aren't even paying any attention. Everyone has different responses. And of course, one of the most sort of interesting situations that illustrate this is the toilet paper situation, right? So there are people panic buying toilet paper and stockpiling it. And at first it seems absurd. I know a lot of people are going, why? Because you can't eat toilet paper and it's not going to be that useful. If you're, isolated, sure, we need it to a certain extent, but it's not the most important thing. Now, here's what's going on in the background. So a lot of people who are feeling, they hear about the situation and they're watching the news and what's happening in China and what's happening in Italy and how bad things could get. And there's a feeling of lack of control. I can't do anything about it. I'm at the mercy of this thing and anything could happen to me. So they've got that. Now, buying lots of toilet paper and stockpiling it is a subconscious thing. So they're not going, what we need? We need toilet paper and a lot of it. That's not what's happening. What's happening is an instinct to feel some kind of control. And toilet paper happens to be quite an easy thing to pick up and lots of. And it feels comforting to have something like that story. Right. And then, of course, what happened is because of social media, people started seeing empty shelves of toilet paper, and those with references, those with programming that is oh, I'm not going to get any, of course, then and so it picked up. So what we're talking about here is subconscious references. And that is the second thing that we want to share with you today.
Yeah, and of course that's going to be completely unique for everybody.
Right.
Everybody's response, everybody's reaction to what's happening in the moment is going to be dictated by whatever references,
Right.
subconscious references they have for themselves in the past. So some of us will feel scared, some will feel annoyed, some will feel amused at just watching the behavior of what's going on. It's all going to be dependent upon previous references because we can't experience anything in the present moment without having some previous reference for it.
Right. So the toilet paper situation. So some people seeing the empty shelves will feel, where am I going to get toilet paper from? I better go and find some. Some people will be angry, and some people will feel. Some people will find it funny, and some people won't care. So the point we're trying to make is that whatever's happening, whether your job is at stake or it's going to affect your finances, or you're worried it's going to affect your finances, your health, your social life, your travel plan, whatever you're worried about, the reason you're worried about it is because you have a subconscious reference that says you need to be worried about it, because other, different people in the same situation with the job and the finances, sure, it's a concern. So, let's say there've been some things of ours that may be affected, and so you've got options. So with the old references, I know I would have been so frustrated and disappointed,
right?
But because I've changed those references, now I'm thinking, okay, so what can we now do strategically? So it's and being worried, being frightened, being angry, being frustrated, all of those are perfectly natural. They're human, and we're designed for that. We're designed to focus on the danger so that we survive, because it's more important to focus on the wild animal that's going to be attacking us than on the pretty flowers. So we are designed that way, but we can override it by changing those references so that we can be more safe, because we're thinking strategically, we're thinking clearly, and we're making clever decisions. And we meant to say at the beginning of this, actually, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll answer questions towards the end.
Absolutely.
So we're happy to answer all questions.
Right. So going back and looking for and changing those subconscious references is really work that is a little bit too much, or it's a little bit too big for what we're doing here right now.
Right.
Our primary goal is to give you some skills that you can be using in the moment to move yourself into a better feeling state, but it's also the knowledge or the understanding that the fear and the negative feelings and those negative emotional states are being dictated or being controlled by the foundation of those emotional states are happening because of those old subconscious references.
Right, and to change them, you can find information on our website. We will be doing an in-depth, a deep dive, a free online event on March 25th at 11 a.m. Central Time. So that's a free event. You do need to register for it through Eventbrite, and we'll put the link to that in the comments. So I want to just go back to the toilet paper, just because the situation with the toilet paper is a perfect example of how the subconscious doesn't use logic or reason. So stockpiling toilet paper is coming from the subconscious. It's a subconscious drive to feel some kind of control, some kind of comfort without it being logical. So it's a beautiful example of how the subconscious doesn't use logic or reason the way the conscious mind does.
Right.
So then the third piece that we wanted to share with you is what we call zero tolerance, and this will help you moving forward. So the first thing you want to do is use that little exercise that we shared with you earlier, and you can rewind this video and just go through it as many times as you want to. to follow along with it. The second thing is the subconscious references. So you're getting into a feel-good state using that little exercise. The second thing is the subconscious references, and we can you can find out more about that. And then the third thing is staying on track. So keeping as much as possible in that state, which means not getting into the details of this situation. So not reading the articles and the posts and watching the videos of the terrible things that are happening.
It might be a really good idea at this point to give yourself a break from that. Give yourself a little bit of a diet from everything that's going on. That's not to say don't stay informed. Stay on top of, have a reliable source of information that you can go to for alerts, what you need to be doing right now, but there's no need to follow every post to get to go down a rabbit hole of comments on a post and just continuing to fuel those negative feelings.
Because none of that is going to change the situation. So being worried about it, finding out more about it, is not going to make it go away. Right. It's not going to change it. It's not going to keep you safe. The only thing that will keep you safe is taking the action that we all know to take, making sure that you're up to date on that. That's all. You don't need to know what other people are experiencing and how bad it could get and where it comes from and all of that. Your top priority, in addition to taking the obvious common sense strategic action, is to maintain a calm, feel-good state so that you've got your cognitive thinking online. You're able to act safely, make decisions, make wise decisions, and so on. So the important thing about that, as mentioned earlier, stress chemicals are stronger than feel-good chemicals, which means once you pump a certain amount of stress chemicals in your system, which means once you've been focusing on a negative thing for a period of time, and it doesn't take long, it can be much more difficult to pull yourself out of that and focus on something positive or do something positive. So it's about catching it early. The slightest negative thought, the slightest negative feeling, immediately choose to change your focus to something good. And if you have trouble doing that, reach out to us. We can give you suggestions for how to do that. So I just wanted to share next steps with you. So we have 3 things coming up that you can that will help you. So first of all, we have on March 25th at 11 a.m. Central Time, a free online event. That's a Zoom event. You can register for it. And so it'll be like as if you're in a virtual room with us. We will go do a deeper dive into the subconscious references, what they are, how they're created, how to change them, how to find them and change them. And we'll give you a few other tools as well. We'll also address specifics. So if there's something that you are specifically affected by, and you need some help or some support or suggestions on how to deal with a particular situation, we will be able to do that in that session. And as I say, it's free. You just need to register. So that's that. The second thing we have coming up is the Maui Mind Spa Retreat, which we're very excited about. So from April 27th to May the 2nd, we're doing a luxury, we're part of a luxury retreat, transformational retreat in Maui. Steve is posting the link to that as well in the comments now. And then the third thing is that on May the 16th, we will be doing a full day in-person workshop in Chicago for those who would like to dive deeper with us on that. And again, so the links to all 3 of those events are in the comments for you. And of course, let us know if you've got any questions or you need any other help. So now you have some information on what is going on inside your brain and body while you're feeling these triggers about the coronavirus. So no matter how real the fear feels, what's physiologically happening is just that. Unless your life is in immediate danger, it's just chemicals. And so now you know how that works. You know why it's important to bring those stress chemicals down and create feel-good chemicals to keep your cognitive thinking online so that you're able to be safe and strategic and make the most of what you do have and notice new opportunities, be creative and so on. You can only do that with your cognitive thinking online, which means when you're feeling good. And you also know that whatever your reaction is right now, and whatever the reaction of other people, including those who are panic buying, it's not a conscious thing. It's coming from subconscious references, and you know that you can change those. And then finally, you know how to continue to stay in an empowered state by correcting your focus, maintaining your focus on what you can control, what does feel good. If you have any questions, if you're watching the replay and you have any questions, then please put them in the comments, and we will keep an eye on this video and we will answer all of them. We love answering questions, so please feel free to ask anything you like.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, yep.
And apart from that, we hope to look after yourselves, take care of yourselves, and make that your top priority, because when you're feeling good, you're able to also have a much more powerful and positively impact on those around you and those you care about. All right, sending you all lots of love. Bye.
Bye for now.